continuation from where we left off before lunch. To review, we were given the original and the new value for a gallon of gas based on prices in 1970 and 2010. We use that information to find the change or the difference between the two values. From that, we used our equation or the formula for our proportion. Change over original equals x over 100. Then we solve the proportion by cross multiplying. The other part of this lesson is on finding the percent of error. We're looking for the percent of error. We're looking for what percentage is the difference between what we expect to happen and what actually happens. So we are looking at what percent is our change. What percent of error do we have? This can be important because if our percent of error is little, but the actual difference between the numbers is large, that's okay. However, if our percent of error is large, but the difference between our numbers is small, then that can be a big deal. For example, if we were going to save 50% of $1, that's a huge percent, but we're only saving 50 cents. If we were saving 5% of $1,000, it's just a little bit, okay? But, so that can make a big difference. All right, let's look at example number 3. Example number 3 is on page 146. Page 146. We have a lot of the same parts, but we're going to look at them in a slightly different way. In example 3, it says that Ahmed wants to practice his free throws. So let's say he wants to make the basketball team. So he wants to practice his free throws. He estimates the distance from the free throw line to the basket is 13.5 feet. And he marks it off with a line of chalk. The actual distance should be 15 feet. We want to find the percent of error. So how far off was he? But I don't want to know how many feet he was off. I want to know what percentage he was off. What is that percent error? So, let's see what we're looking at. The change is still going to be the change. But our original is going to be the actual. Were we given an actual distance that this should be? Yes, what is it? 15 feet. Okay. Our new is going to be the estimate. Were we given an estimate in our problem? What was our estimate?
13.5 feet.
13.5 feet. Were we given a percent of change or percent error?
Nope.
No. So, but can we find that?
Yes.
Yes. Can we find our change?
Yes.
Okay. How do I find my change? Because that one's the easiest to find. Yes, sir.
You subtract your original from your new. No, your new from your original.
Okay. We're going to subtract whichever one is larger from the one that is. We're going to subtract the smaller from the larger. Because when we're doing this, we can't have a negative. Okay, we can't have a negative error. So we're going to take 15 minus 13.5. And that's 1.5. Okay? Now, let's go back to our proportion. What is my change? What is my change?
1.5.
1.5. Okay? What's the original or the actual?
15.
15. Do we know X?
Nope.
And 100 is constant. That means that 100 is always going to be there. Now what do I need to do?
Cross multiply.
Cross multiply. In cross multiplying, you have 1.5 times 100 equaling 15 times X. What is 1.5 times 100?
150.
Okay, 150. That equals what?
15x.
15X. Okay, then what do I need to do?
Divide by 15.
Divide by 15. Somebody else, why am I dividing by 15?
Because that's the number to divide by.
Yes.
15 is your own variable.
Because 15 is attached to the variable? Very good. We divide by whatever is attached to my variable. What is 150 divided by 15?
10.
10. 10 equals X because those 15s cancel. So what is my percent?
10%.
10%. Okay. If I was going to do this using the equation instead, if I was going to do this using the equation, I would take my change over my original, 1.5 divided by 15,
You look high.
that equals X. 1.5 divided by 15 is 0.1 equaling X. Then to make that a percentage, I have to move the decimal point 1, 2 places. I have to add in a 0. That means that 10% is our X. Okay, that means that 10% is my percent of change. So we can do it either way. However, because sometimes we have trouble remembering which direction to move our decimal point in,
Oh.
I recommend that we do it this way.